one steps. All right, guys, so we are going to go ahead and review one step number 1 and 3. Okay, let's start with the first one. Go step by step. Take your left hand, go for a knife and block. With your right leg, I'm actually going to you're going to step into a straddle-like stance. So remember, the way your fingertips are pointing, that's the way you're going to step. Ready, step, knife and block. You're now going to pivot towards your left in a forward stance and execute a high punch with your right hand. Ready, pivot, high punch, kia. Notice how my front knee is bent, back leg locked out, and I'm going at an angle. Return. One more time. One step number 1. One step number 1, man. Left hand goes up. Stepping towards your right. Step. Knife and block. Going towards your left. Pivot, high punch, kia. Return. All together. One step number 1. One step number 1, man. Kia. Return. All right. Moving on to one step number 3. Go ahead and take your right hand, fold for a high block. Right leg's going to step forward into a back stance. Ready, step, high block. All right, your chamber hand is going to do a short punch to the solar plexus as you pivot to a forward stance. Pivot, short punch, and return. Ready, one more time, fold, step, high block, short punch, kia, return. All right, putting it all together. One step number 3. One step number 3, mat. Kia, return. One more time, adjust. Don't forget, as you're performing them all the way on your own, make sure I can see every stance and the block and the follow-up technique. Ready? One step number 3. One step number 3, ma'am, and go. Kia, return. Okay, now we're gonna backtrack a little bit and go into one step number 2. All right, so for one step number 2, with our left hand, we're gonna fold for an inside block. Our elbows pointing to our left, so you can use that as a reference to step into a straddle-like stance. Ready, you're gonna step, inside block. From here, as one step number 1, you're gonna pivot into a left leg forward stance, but your right hand is gonna do a center punch towards a right angle. Ready, pivot, center punch, kia. Make sure it's going towards the lower ribs. Return. Do that one more time. One step number 2, left hand folds for inside block. Left leg steps into a straddle-like stance. Inside block, pivot, center punch. Notice, forward stance goes a different direction from the center punch. Return. Ready, one step number 2. Step, inside block, center punch, kia. Return. Performing it all together. One step number 2. One step number 2, man. And go. Kia. Return. One more time. One step number 2. One step number 2, man. And go. Kia. Return. All right, guys, these are our one steps in video order. Number 1, number 3, and number 2.